Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight on the Mindset Elevator. I hope you guys enjoy the groovy lights tonight that we have going on here. You know, if you know anything about me yet, I like to switch things up every so often, okay? So this is a whole little thing here, a little feature on my ring light that I'm utilizing. So thank you guys. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for checking in with the Mindset Elevator. And I'm checking in with you guys as well. How are you guys doing tonight? I hope you guys are feeling great. And I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves. And I hope you guys are enjoying January 2025. I had to think for a second. We're in January, right? Hi, everybody. Thank you. Hey, India, hope you're doing awesome. Hey, Matthew. Hey, Thea. Hey, David. Hey, Marlon, coming in from Texas. Nice. Hey, Charles. Hey, Lauren. How are you guys doing tonight? I hope you guys are feeling great, okay? And I'm feeling in a really good mood. Hey, Stay. Hey, Cam. Hey, Mary. Hey, Amandria. Hey, Steven. How are you guys doing? Hope you guys are feeling great, okay? Hope you guys are leveling up. All right. I hope you guys are not wasting any time leveling up. All right. It's very vital, right? It's very important that, as you traverse through life, that you're looking for different ways to level yourself up. There's not just one cookie cutter way to get higher in life. You got to make sure that no matter what you do in life, no matter where you go, you're trying to, you're trying to stay on the up and up. No matter what's bringing you down, stay on the up and up. Up is the only way. All right, everybody. And thank you guys. And thank you guys so much for the positive vibes. Thank you guys for the great vibes, okay? I love being here on the Mindset Elevator. I love being on YouTube. And I'd like to say something before I even begin. There have been impersonators and scammers running rampant on YouTube here, affecting a lot of content creators. I find it to be a little bit bizarre. But I also want to let it be known that when, if you're being accosted by individuals impersonating me and suggesting that donate to orphanages and, pretending that I am saying these things, I'm not associated with any orphanage organization. I'm not affiliated. And even if I was, I would not outwardly be begging anybody, for any kind of monetary donation, okay? That's just not how I get down. And a lot of people get pulled into these scams. Be very, very careful because a lot of people, they take images of individuals you watch and then they put this generic scam text, attached to their picture and start trying to get people, innocent people like you, to buy into that. And the Mindset Elevator is not down with that. We don't move that way, and of course, I care about disadvantaged people very much, but I don't come on here and try to make a profit from these very serious circumstances. That's just not how we do. So be very careful. The scams that are running rampant here on YouTube, that's just some people's full-time job. Is to scam, is to run scams and trick people. So please, please, please be very careful and understand if you see a picture, my picture, and being accosted and being people, my picture begging for money, just understand that I'm not affiliated with any organization. When I do any kind of charity work or when I do any kind of giving, humanitarian work and things like that, it's not a public thing, that I normally do. All right. So thank you guys. Thank you guys. Scammers are rampant. It's unfortunate, very rampant. Okay. Those are the type of people who are not elevating. They're not leveling up. I'll tell you that much. Okay. And I thank you guys for being here, tuning in. And let's get into this live stream, okay? Because it's quite interesting that when you're finally escaping your past, or when you're getting away from your past, or you're getting away from what you used to do, or from what you used to be involved in, you finally elevated from what maybe held you back, or from where you came from and things like that. It's kind of interesting how people have this burning desire to bring up your past and to bring up your unevolved self, to try to have conversations with people about who you used to be, because they want to gloss over who you are now. All right. And let it be known in the comments if you've had to deal with this particular circumstance. I've had to. It's barbaric because, I will say that it's the individuals that do things like this, you know, their closet isn't clean. So it's kind of barbaric to me that they'd even try, a stunt like this, where you've done the work, you've done everything you've had to do. You're elevating, you're higher now, you're better, right? You're better, right? So it's not like you can be compared to your old self or your unevolved self. There's no comparison now, right? You've elevated beyond that stage. And so, when people are trying to bring up your past because they see you going higher now, this is a power trip thing. This is something that they're doing. You're utilizing your past as a means to distort people's, perception of you at this current time. That's what it's supposed to do, and also to create doubt about who you are or who you are trying to be, you know there's going to be people in your environment who are going to try to make you feel as though you are an imposter, or that you're pretending, or you're not really being yourself because you used to do this, you used to go there, you used to be like that. They don't want to let your past die out or wither away or be a thing of the past. It's like they want to resurrect it and use it as leverage to destroy you currently, what you've been building, right? Or destroy your character, destroy who you've become, who you've evolved into, who you've grown to be, right? When you start leveling up, it's like people don't want people to see this version of you. They don't want people to become acquainted with this version. They want people to know when you were, you know, perhaps unsure, unaware, uncertain, okay, maybe more immature, when you used to do rash things, and you used to run wild, and you know what I mean? Like, we're all that's a lot of us did that. A lot of us did that, right? Everybody has a past. It's not like we're saints here, A lot of us have pasts that we've done things that are not right. We've done things, we've participated in things that are, unsavory, for sure, right? But that's where the growth comes in. That's where the lessons come in. That's where we start going up. We start building, we start settling down, and start anchoring ourselves, start building ourselves from, at some point in time, you got to stop clowning around. And we recognize that, and we moved up from there. Some people cannot like move up, though. They cannot accept that you're in this new energy, or that you're in a new wave. You're making waves, right? Perhaps back then that was not the case. Maybe back then you were kind of like a wallflower, and you weren't really shining in the way that you should be, or you should have been, the ways that you're shining now, right? So people who are jealous, people who are angry, people who are competitive, they're going to look at you in this new glow, or with you with this newfound energy, and they're going to try to distort that by making it seem like your past is still here, or who you were is still you. And perhaps you haven't changed so drastically. Maybe your situation has just changed, or perhaps you've elevated parts of your life. You can still be that cool, quirky person, but you're grown, you're making big decisions, you're making big waves. But people will make it seem like the leaps and bounds that you're making is not you. That's not you. That's not who you really are. That's not what you used to be, or who you used to be. It's like they're bent out of shape because they don't like that you've elevated. They don't like that you have more now. They don't like that you shine brighter now. They don't like that you're confident now. They don't like that you've got your life together. You're not doing the wrong things anymore. Like, perhaps they remember when you weren't doing all the right things. They'll bring up the times that you got in trouble with the law. They'll bring up times when you did things that you shouldn't have done, right? Perhaps, you made a lot of choices that were not the greatest. And you're trying to get away from that because you're better than that now. But they don't want people to see you in this, fresh energy. They don't want people to see that you've changed. You've turned over a whole new leaf. They don't want nobody to know about that. They want people to see you as this felon, as this, uneducated, you know, homeless, broke, right? They'll start painting this picture that who you used to be is who you still are down to the core. They want people to buy into this, that you're this unevolved, person who hasn't changed really. Perhaps somebody who's just pretending to have changed, somebody who's just pretending to appease. You don't have to appease anybody but yourself. You don't have to do too much out here. All you really did was go within and realize that you really did want to enact change in your world, and you were willing to do the steps that were going to guide you in that direction. Yeah, GBT teaches, says they always try to humble you. That's God's job. Right. Right. It's like, how you trying to humble me? Like I know what I'm capable of, and I'm not even going as hard as I can, right? So why are you trying to, dumb it down? You know what I mean? Like they don't even know how much fire you can really come with. It's just what they see. They don't even know how hard you could go. They'd be in for a shock, to see like you really could push it. you know Sometimes we hold ourselves back because if we really pushed it, it would be a whole other scenario. Not everybody understands the vibrance that you actually have, like the strength, you have a rejuvenated style, you have a different way, you have a different, hop to your step, and they don't understand it, you know but sometimes, they feel like something is brewing. A lot of these people, they see that there's something brewing about you, there's something changing, there's something blossoming about you that seemed unevolved before, or something that seemed like undiscovered before, right? Where you're really growing into yourself, and people can't stand it, or people cannot, they cannot really accept that you've elevated, that you have more now, you're wiser now. It's like they don't want you to be smart, or they don't want you to have more. They want you to be, not only is it about who they want you to be, it's also like who they want people to see you as. It's like they don't want people to see you as a person who is bright, or a person who is strong, or a person who has a lot to share, somebody who's intelligent. They want people to believe that you are unaware, or that you're still juvenile, or that you're still, you don't have a lot to your name. But perhaps it's the way that you move now that's causing the distortion. They're not around enough, they're not in your world like that to really see what you've really been up to. It's a lot of speculation. And a lot of times that's what it is as well. When these people are not really in your life like that, all they can really do is speculate, and they'll spread rumors and tell lies based on their own speculations. Like they don't really even know you like that anymore. And it could be someone who you know very well, but they're not around you like that. Perhaps they're a drama starter, perhaps they're warish, perhaps they're jealous, they have bad vibes. So they're not really even around you like that anymore. So it's like when they hear people talking highly of you, or when they see people questioning you, or being inquisitive about you and asking a lot of questions in a excited way, they're going to be like, nah, that's not who they are. That's not what they're about. I know who they really are. You should have seen them 10 years ago. You should have seen them 15 years ago. You would not be saying what you're saying right now. And they try to like make it seem like, the goals and the accolades and all the work and the transformation that you embarked on is kind of like hocus pocus. Hocus pocus. Like it's just kind of like you casting an illusion over everybody and fooling everybody. That's what they make it seem like. That you're this just grand scheme of you fooling everybody into believing, the facade. But there is no facade. You are who you are, right? They don't want people to see how you shine. They don't want people to believe that you've got a glow. They do not want people to believe that you have a vibrance. They want people to believe that you're kind of, maybe that you just follow everybody, or that you're just like everybody else, or perhaps what you're doing is regular and anybody could do that. They really try to minimize and hide and dim the light that you carry, you know? And I thank you so much, India, for that generous donation there. I really thank you so much. So Real TV says salute. Yep. Thea says stay the road. It becomes more and more worth it every day. Yep. Lauren says they know what you're capable of. That's why they want to make you small. Oh, for sure. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. They know the power that you have. They know that you're a mighty person. They know that you are not to be played with, right? But they still play with you. They'll play with your name. No doubt. They may not be able to come against you physically and enter your space physically, but they'll play with your name, like they'll defame you, or at least they'll attempt to try to get people to believe another version of events, or, that the life you're living is not really genuine. But it's more than genuine. It's potent. The life you live is serious. Not everybody can accept, the energy. Not everybody can accept your growth. And what a shame that is. Not everybody can accept your growth. They think it's some kind of joke. It's some kind of phase, that you're kind of going through that'll pass eventually. Your growth is only here to get larger, to get bigger, to get vast. It's not to be diminished. It's going to get vast. And they better buckle up, because if they have a problem right now, they're going to be having a problem for a lifetime, because you're not going anywhere. And you're not going to dim your light for anybody. If anybody has a problem, show them the door. You know what I mean? Just show them the door. All right. Or offer them your silence. If somebody's going to come around you, they better respect you. Right. Because listen, to be honest, we are our worst enemies. A lot of the things that happen to us that are unsavory are things that we allow. That's just my opinion. It's what we allowed to take place. But it's not something to beat ourselves over with. It's just something to change. It's something to, find a solution to, or a remedy to. When we know that there are bad-minded people around us, we should be taking precautions to mitigate these issues. It's not something to where you let it sit, you let it soak, and you let it see where it goes, how bad this wildfire grows. This is something you want to nip in the bud. That includes the company that you keep. That includes, a job that's not suiting you. That includes where you're living. If you got to move away, it's a lot of things we got to take stock of yearly, monthly, daily, weekly, to make sure that, all of our affairs are set straight, right? This is up to us. We got to mitigate all of life's stresses, right? And so, and that's it. And when you do, you elevate. When you do deal with your life's woes, you elevate. And you will notice that as you elevate, because you're dealing with negative circumstances and battling it, that people are going to start bringing up your past battles, or your past issues, or your run-ins, or whatever negative circumstances you had to deal with. And they're going to try to make it seem like you're still in that energy, or that's still kind of who you are still. Don't be fooled. He didn't really change that much, and things like that. You've changed. You've evolved. You've become a better version of yourself. You know who you are, you know. The thing that's bothering them, a lot of these haters, and this is also my opinion, the thing that's bothering them is that they feel as though they don't know you now. They feel like they don't know you. They can't recognize you now, right? So it's kind of like, how could you have changed so drastically that they don't even know who you are now, right? It could be somebody who's a part of your lineage. They don't even feel like they know you now. It could be your bro, your sis, an aunt, an uncle. It could be somebody really close to you that you've known since kindergarten, that just looks at you one day and realizes that you're seriously leveling up. You're not in the same position. You do not have the same mindset. You are not in the same spot. It's like somebody who, you know, as time passes, they're not growing mentally. They're kind of in that same juvenile mindset, and they're not growing from that, and they're not expanding from that. But you have been. You've been growing, you've been expanding yourself to a certain degree that they cannot fathom. They don't understand it. They think you come from where they come from. You should be on that level, not on the tip that you're on now. It's like, why are you on that type of tip? We're just the same. That's how they're kind of seeing it. Like you're like them. That's what they think, or that's what they thought, but you've elevated. So now they realize that you're actually not like them, and nor do you want to be. You're on your own little wave. They can't stand it. They thought that you were just like them. It could have been an elementary thing, from years ago playing on the playground. They always thought that you were going to be identical to them. Perhaps you maybe had the same thoughts that we're always going to be cool, everything's going to be sweet, dandy. Eventually, you grow into yourself and you go down different paths. And it may not be the path that you thought you were going to be on, and all these different circumstances. They don't recognize you. So it's kind of like they feel like they're talking to a stranger, or they feel like they're around a stranger, though they know that you're not a stranger. They know that you're somebody who they've been knowing. Perhaps they had respect for. Now they're like jealous, or they feel some type of way. It could be a lot of different things. I better fetch my laptop. Not my laptop. I better fetch my phone charger here before this dies. Let me read some comments though here. Yeah, David says never go back. Hey Jim, hope you're doing awesome. And India says, why think small when God specifically made us larger than life itself? I'm grateful. Me and you both, India. Me and you both. Hey Miss Lady Bride, hope you're doing great. Brandon, thank you so much. Yeah, exactly. Brandon says, stop bringing up my past when Jesus has already dropped the charges. Thank you, Brandon, for that. Thank you. Hope you're doing well, Zeus. Jim, thank you. Thank you guys so much. Hey, Hannah, hope you're doing awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here on the channel. I love to bring you guys some content here. And I want you guys to know something as well, is that it's a lot of things I've learned in the most of the thing, 95% of the things I've learned in life is not from what somebody has taught me. It's from what I've personally had to go through by myself. I keep a lot of things, or have been keeping a lot of things hidden into myself, because I just kind of felt like, there was no outlet, there was no way. And when you feel like there's no way and there's no outlet, you're going to actually start looking for life fillers that are not, they're not worth it. You're going to start feeding into drama. You're going to start feeding into the negativity because you're not grounded, or you feel like you're not stable. I will never, ever, ever be on here on the Mindset Elevator and ever claim to be somebody who's fully, who's just this person that knows everything. The things that I talk about are things that are factual to me. It's things that I've been through that I personally can speak on confidently, because, I want to help people. I want to help people to see that you are not alone. I didn't have a lot of cheerleaders in my own world, and I have a little bit of bitterness about that, but then that bitterness goes away when I'm able to reach and help and be an advocate for people who may have come from a similar circumstance, who felt like they were voiceless. And no matter where the channel goes, no matter what I'm doing, I'm always going to come on here talking some real stuff. And I know that there have been some comments on here. People are dissatisfied with certain things that I talk about, or certain verbiage I do not use that they think I should be using, and things of that nature. And I welcome feedback, because I love people, and I love to hear from everybody, for sure. But one thing I will continue to convey here on the Mindset Elevator, is that my delivery, the way that I speak, or what I speak on, is just from my own experience, and it's just kind of rapid fire. It's just what I know. right? It may not be everybody's cup of tea. I may not do the same practices as my neighbor or all of you beautiful people here. We all have different ways of doing things, including how we deliver a message or how we speak on certain things. And that's what makes somebody an individual. And that's why I'm on here on YouTube to also let you guys know that, you ought to be your own person. You ought to be your own, do your own thing. I didn't grow up having all these advocates, having all these cheerleaders. I got kicked on, I got beat on quite a bit in terms of, having my spirit broken or having negative feelings, negative thoughts, things like that. That was kind of like, that was just the thing. That's just what it was. But I've risen out of these dark places when I finally got awakened and I decided, you know what? I ought to be what I need to be. And that is, an advocate for the voiceless or an advocate for those who feel as though, nobody cares. I will always care. I will always care and I will always love humanity. If there was more love in the world, how many negative things that would override? That's just what I imagine. And I know it's unrealistic, but I do imagine that. If love could just infiltrate every negative space, how beautiful the world would be. I mean, the world is beautiful in of itself, but not all the residents are, or not every life circumstance is. We get thrown curveballs and we have to deal with it. We have to deal with it in order to get to the glory, you know? So hope you guys have been enjoying the mindset elevator, of course, and I hope you guys have been enjoying your own lives to the fullest and doing what it is that you feel must be done, right, in the way that fits best for you. I'm never gonna be on here and and discouraging individuality. That is something that I believe you should hone on into, especially if you're really trying to level up. And I'm sure a lot of you have decided that, it's best to be you. And when you've decided this and you're starting to, garner a lot of attention, some of the attention that you're garnering is less than savory. A lot of people are kind of feeling some type of way that you've grown into yourself and you finally figured out who you were and what you stood for, and you started acting that way, and you started getting the blessings from being you. I wasn't being blessed when I was following other people because I used to be a follower. I wasn't getting blessed. You get back to the same spot and it's a sour spot. It's not a place you want to be. It's not what you envision. I used to be a follower because when you get beaten down, you just want to belong. But eventually you stray away, or that might be what you're feeling to do. And when you stray away and when you stay away from what no longer serves you, then you figure out who you really are and what you really stand for, what you really want to be. And then the herd doesn't seem very attractive and not very comforting as well. Like these people, a lot of the times, they follow each other, they follow the trends. Perhaps you don't follow trends, perhaps you go to the beat of your own drum. And that isn't, it's an irritant to people who are not quite used to seeing you shine and see you be you. It's an irritant. To them, it's like poison. Like, how dare you? They feel like it's everything's just kind of like falling apart because they remember a time where you did not seem solidified, or your future or whatever it was that you were doing didn't seem concrete, didn't seem like it was really going to happen. And not only did it happen, you're surpassing a lot of expectations. And that's wondrous. To us, it's wondrous. To them, it's iffy. To them, it's kind of like, like, I don't know all about that, right? They remember when you were in a lower position. So they're thinking that's your rightful position. It should be a lower state. You should be feeling lower. You should be feeling sadder. You should be feeling sad. How come you're not calling me with sad stories anymore? There's so many people I call with sad stories, and it's kind of like, darn, man, like, wow, all I ever had, it was always melancholy. There was never nothing good to talk about. And that's when you realize your life needs to change. You need to change. Things need to change because it's always a lot of sad tales, a lot of sad things, circumstances, sadness, depression, things of that nature, right? When you rise above it, then you try to call the same folks, like they don't want to talk because they're so used to this. They're so used to perhaps you crying, or you being sad, or you being down and out, or you being not really having a lot to your name, things like that. They want you to go back to that existence. They don't really want you to have this existence where you have a lot more, not only more materialistically, but just coping mechanisms. The way you deal with life now is different. And it's like they're not really used to this and they don't like it. Perhaps it's because they realize that parts of them are unhealed. And when they were around you, they felt better about their unhealed parts because they felt like if you were in a bad position and they were in a bad position, they felt better in their position because you didn't feel good. But the reason why they felt that in the first place is because they saw the potential for you to be good or for you to do well. So it's kind of like, oh man, I hope he stays sad. I hope he stays like low, let's keep, and they expect dreariness. It's like they expect, negativity to always be a part of your story until it's not. And then when it's not, then the support dissipates, and then what? Right? And so you always got to make sure that you are your best cheerleader. And even when nobody else is clapping for you, you better clap for yourself because you did the work, you knew what you wanted. You should celebrate that. Celebrate all your wins. Mm-hmm. It's all good, says sadly, a lot of people prefer the disempowered version of me. It's like, they liked when we were unmotivated. They liked when we were less certain. And now that we're so sure, right? We're so sure, we're so keen on what it is that we got to do now, how we got to move now. They don't like how we're moving now, They don't like how we're getting down. Let me go fetch that controller before the screen cuts out. Oh no. And now it fell out, the controller here. Let's see if I can get this plugged in without it toppling over, right? Thank you guys so much, by the way, for being here. Let's see if I can plug this in like that. Oh, wow, it works. All right, everybody. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Street Nasty, it's nice to see you. I haven't seen you for a minute on here. You said because they're miserable and misery loves company. You're telling me misery loves company. It's like white on rice. It's like two peas in a pod. When people are miserable, they need recruits. It's like they need anybody to join this. It's like the Squid Games. It's kind of funny. But it's like this game that they want everybody to play, but it's a diabolical game. It's a game that has no real rewards, right? No real return. You don't really get nothing. And when you're leveling up, people are not going to be very happy. It's like they don't want you to. It's kind of sad if you really think about it. If you really, really think about the circumstance, it's kind of sad that you could really be doing well finally in your life. You could be doing well, really, really good. And there are people who just cannot accept that. They cannot accept that that's what your life is looking like now. They'd rather you go back, just go back to the time when it wasn't popping like that. Nothing was really going on. Perhaps maybe you were really you were voicing your concerns. Everything seemed melancholy. Then everything turned around. And when everything turned around, it's like individuals were just kind of perplexed. Like, how did you turn that negative situation around? Or how did you get out of the mud? How did you do that? Because they weren't thinking that that was a possibility. They weren't thinking that that was going to be the outcome. They'll bring up your past, what you used to do, who you used to be, how you used to talk, where you used to go, as though they're saints or as though they've they're perfect. And they make it seem like you're pretending, or they try to minimize you in your adulthood, right? They try to really minimize the leaps and bounds that you've created, that you've made, because they want people to believe that you are completely unchanged, you are completely unaware, you are completely not in the know, as you are outwardly trying to portray, try to make you feel like some sort of actor or actress. This is real life. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to pretend to be somebody that you aren't. You just are. And what about it? It's like they can't accept the fact that you are who you are. You've grown, right? You've leveled up, and they don't like it. They don't like that you are shining in ways that they've not seen till now, right? Like they can't accept, like, wow, he does that now. She's moving like that now. It's kind of like, when did this happen? And they're kind of like taken aback by your immense growth. This is just not something that they factored in. They didn't think it was going to ever be like this. There was a lot of doubt that these individuals could have really thrusted your way. And maybe in the past that doubt worked, or maybe in the past, you weren't going your hardest, but these days it's like the Energizer buzzy. You're like the Energizer bunny, like you're not stopping. You can't stop, right? It's, you just keep going and going. And all people could do is just spectate, right? And be mad if they want to be mad. You're not stopping for their pleasure, right? For their euphoria. They can get euphoria elsewhere by other means, but it's not going to be to your detriment that, you just stop shining to make everybody feel comfortable in a room, right? If they don't feel comfortable, there's the door. And they don't got to deal with it, right? But they're not going to dumb you down. They're not going to dim your light, right? Just because their light's not shining or their light's not as vibrant, there's remedies for that, and the remedy is not to knock somebody else down to make yourself feel high, just a sensation. It's just a sensation. And, I will always stand on being genuine, because I was the type of person who was not always genuine. I was not always real with myself. I would, you talk yourself up and then you talk yourself down. I wasn't consistent. There was uncertainty a lot, a part of my existence. A lot of uncertainty, so much doubt, so much worry that I don't feel anymore, because what I know now is palpable. And what I know now is what I share. And what I share is to uplift. And to uplift means to not only feel good, but to also be aware. To be aware means that you're in the know, right? And then to be in the know is you're not being mentally played with. It's a chain effect, right? It's a snowball effect. But it all comes back to the mind, and it all comes back to your mindset in general. If you have the proper mindset, you will level up, even if you're going at a snail's pace. Doesn't really matter, because first of all, there's no competition. And second of all, you know what you're after. You know what you're about. That's the thing too. A lot of these folks don't know you. They don't know you. They may have known of you, for quite some time, perhaps even decades, but they don't know you like that, because they weren't really fully sure of your capabilities, right? Or perhaps they had an inkling, or they caught wind of your capabilities, but tried to like scrub it out, right? And make it seem like, nah, it's not that good, or nah, it's not like that, right? But then when they saw that it was like that, then they started getting concerned about you. They started getting concerned about, your shine. And all they could really grasp, all they could really do, their only recourse here is to bring up your past. It's to bring up how you used to be, what you used to do, how you used to act, as though it is relevant in your current life. And it's not relevant anymore. Certainly it's a part of your story, but as equally, it's not hindering you. Your past does not hinder you. It possibly shapes you and helps you to stay focused on what it is that you're looking for today, or what you're trying to aim for today. E says gin and juice, absolutely not. Yeah. David says I was lost back then, but now I'm strong and blessed. Absolutely. Yep. David says they hate independence too. For sure. Antoinette says change is good, and I love change. I welcome change. I prefer that things switch up a little bit from time to time, because it keeps me on my toes, keeps things interesting for sure. Terry says 100. Antoinette says new year, new me. It's all good says I healed myself and grew, but they chose not to, so I'm a villain in their eyes for doing well for myself. A lot of these individuals, they're not making no types of moves. So when they see you like really putting things into action, they feel some type of way. They think that you shouldn't be going so hard. And I thank you guys for the insight here, all the comments. Gretchen says, upset because you know who you are and what you are capable of. Knowledge is power. Super cliche, I know, but knowledge is power. Once you know yourself, and once you know what you're about, and once you know what you stand for and what you're trying to do, watch the enemies come crawling in. Watch the games begin. Nothing like what you've seen Jigsaw do in the movies. These individuals start really putting forth some diabolical games, right? To try to mess your brain up, to get you confused about what you're trying to do. They're going to try to really implement doubt. They're going to try to implant doubt in your mind to make you think that you're really still that other guy. You're really still that other woman. You haven't really changed that much. I've heard some people who've known me for years, when they talk to me years later, they say, Andrea, you're the same person. You haven't changed. You have not changed. And I say, you're not fully wrong. There's certain aspects of me that have not changed that you are familiar with. Like, sense of humor, I laugh, I make jokes, things like that. I giggle, whatever the case might be. But there are parts that you don't see that I've worked on. There's certain things that you're not aware of that I've actually elevated from, dark places I've elevated from. And you're never going to know that because we're not on that type of tip, and let it be that way. Right? You don't know me like that. You're not around me like that to know the type of growth I've actually embarked on. Right? So they only say, oh man, you're still silly, Andrea, still cracking jokes, and I was a massive jokester, to the point where people really did not take me seriously. They didn't, because I was always cracking jokes. I was always telling jokes and things like that. Saying outlandish things that people just couldn't help but like react, bizarrely to. And I still do, but I've evolved in other ways that people just, they never got to know me like that, so they don't understand. They could never discern, what was the growth or what was the change. They just see the same person. You could really be the same person at heart, but you've elevated, and only you would know to what degree you've elevated to, because no one knows you like you, right? Nobody knows you like you. Yeah, Brandon says crab in a bucket. Terry says that's why I stay solo. Mobile Moms also says crabs in a barrel mentality, SMH. Yeah. And India, thank you for that. I'm sorry that I'm just seeing this now. You said the thing is, they live in the past. They replay the past in their brains on a continuum. On a daily basis, they choose to remain detained, but you are free, right? You're free to have your own conscious choice and to do what you want to do because it fits your life best, you know? Don't let anybody screw with your brain. Do not let anybody mess your mind up because that's what they'll come for first. That's what they're going to aim to destroy first is your brain, is your brilliant mind, because your mind is the driving force. Once that's compromised, everything is compromised and they know it. So always keep your mind right. Think twice. Take stock of what happens in your world and you'll be smooth sailing. You'll feel a lot better, a lot more control over your own life, a lot more joy, prosperity, everything coming flooding to you because you're taking stock, taking inventory, housekeeping of your own life. It's very powerful. Yeah, Rebel says they want to hold you back and tie you. And thank you, Street Nasty, for that. Thank you, thank you. Some of the comments are really, really funny. um, uh, you know, I will say that I appreciate all commentary, though some will not be given a lot of weight, of course. That's the thing too when you're doing your own thing and trying to build your own little wave. There's going to be people that come, and they don't have nothing positive to offer. They don't have nothing uplifting to offer. They just have negativity to share. And that's just kind of how they float. They float around and they spread negativity when you're trying to uplift and when you're trying to build because they haven't found the way yet. And that's okay. At the end of the day, you're always going to have the way. You're always going to see the way. You're going to know the way because you have that faith and you have that trust within yourself that everything's going to be okay and that everything is working out in your favor. You know what I mean? And as long as you stay true to yourself and as long as you stay real with yourself, the only way you can go is up. And when people bring up your past and they try to make you out to be somebody else that you're not, keep being who you are because the real ones will recognize, they'll see the discrepancies. They will understand what's really being played here, and they'll be able to move forward in treating you with respect, with dignity, with compassion, because they know the game that's being played. Not everybody that comes around has positive vibes. Some people are just bored. Just goes to show you their itinerary is pretty vacant. They don't really have a lot of things going on. They don't have a lot of things happening. Not to say that they can't. They just choose, right, to have negative vibes, a dreary life when they know they can make a better way, do different things. We're choosing a different way. All right, everybody. I hope you guys stay all on the up and up. I want to say thank you guys so very much for stopping by tonight from all over the world. I really appreciate it. For all the generous super chats. Thank you guys for all the likes, for all the watches, for all the commentary. I really appreciate you guys. I hope you guys know how much you really shine. And don't let anybody dim your light, okay? This is not the time. 2025 is not the year to be dimming your own light. This is the time to let your light shine in anything that you're trying to pursue. And I guarantee it's going to come with massive gains, right? Because you're letting the real you come out. And when the real you comes out, there's no stopping it. There's no stalling it. You're coming in hot and everybody better be ready, regardless if they like it or not. That's far from your issue. You're going to be who you are. You got to be who you are on this planet. It's a lot of impersonators, a lot of scammers, a lot of fakes. And in a world like this, you have to come with the real, right? We require this. We need this. You need this. You need to be yourself. Be yourself. There's nobody else on this planet you should want to be like except for yourself. And you shine in that regard. You shine, you elevate, you level up, even if it gets everybody crying. You level up and you shine because it's your time. No more back burner. All right, no more backwards movements. Right, only forward. Okay. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you guys. I'm going to be signing off here. Let's stay connected. All right. Join me on Facebook if you guys wish. All right. I'm not sure if you guys are Facebook people, but if you guys wish, that is available. And I thank you guys so much for the generosity, even generosity with your time. I really do appreciate it. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. All right. Explore YouTube tonight. All right. Spread the love, spread the joy, stay high vibrating. All right, everybody. And I'll see you guys soon. Okay. Take care and have a good one. Bye.